Okay, now we'll speak about the insight, the wisdom I discovered through my family journey, through my experience of parenting. And the first one is 9 principles I define to speak about natural education. The first principle I would use is that we need to understand the two dimensions of the human being, his terrestrial dimension and his celestial dimension. The human being has two realities in which is belonging at the same time. The one of this planet through his body, his condition, his organism, and the one of the spirit of this world, not tangible in the 3D dimension, but this reality, many experiences of near-to-death experience or out-of-body experience, or also the quantum science are speaking about. So we need to take into account these two dimensions of the human being in the way we should educate naturally. And to say, it means, entonces is a Spanish word, it means taking into account the two dimensions of the human being in the way we are educating our children. Then the second principle of the natural education is the balance we have to find between safety and freedom, security and liberty. I think the children, they need both at the same time to express fully who they are as human beings, so that in the education we can choose to take into account these two needs of the children. This is the second principle of the natural education. Then the third principle is to respect the different successive phases of the youth development. The children, they go through phases of natural development from the time of gestation, of creation of the organism in the body of their mother. This is before birth. Then you've got the phase of birth, the transformation. Many transformations occurred at the time of birth, including the way to breathe, to feed itself, to regulate the temperature, to perceive the world, etc. Then you've got the phase of the little baby who is breastfeeded, so it's a time of nourrisson, I don't remember in English, but it's the time of the fusion between the child and his mother. They are living just like a common organism. Even if the child is outside, he is living just as he would be the mother. It's the same entity. And then when it starts walking and going away from his mother, start the phase of the young child up to 7, up to the change of teeth, So this is the phase of the young child. And then you've got the phase of the child between 7, the age of reason, of developing concepts. Up to teenage, they change with hormonal sexual activation. So this is a stage of expansion of the childhood. And then you have the teenage time. It's more an age of relation, of socialization, and also responsibilization in the society, up to 21. And then the last phase of human growth development is the young adult between 21 and 28, the end of the formation of the brain, and this is the phase of individualization. These are the phases I distinguish in the evolution of a child. So this is the third principle, to respect these different phases. Then the fourth principle is to recourse to the support and help of nature as a favorable context for the unfolding of the human who is our child. This is a favorable context, and also nature is a teacher. So you can see a wild environment or anthropic environment like gardens as favorable environment for the children, because they are alive. They are constantly changing with the seasons, with the climate, with the forces of growth of plants, with the animals, insects, etc., the life. So this is a favorable context because we are belonging as human beings to nature. We are part of nature. This was the fourth principle. And the fifth principle is to learn how to live in innocuity, not harming ourselves, others, and our environment. This is a very central learning in the natural education, but it comes by its own when you raise your children in contact with nature. And then the sixth principle is the self-discovery, is to develop an understanding for the child of who he is as human being, and how he makes a relation between his thoughts and his life, his thoughts, his words, his acts, his life, etc. So it's a self-understanding. It's very important that it comes from him. It's not directed by an authority. It's self-appropriated. This is very important, the sixth one. Then the seventh one is to filter, to choose the cultural inputs you will bring to your child. Choose, filter. It's a responsibility of the parents to create a context, a cultural context, which is favorable for the child. It's not the time to let everything enter in your culture, in your family, in your cultural references, in your cultural values. You have to choose what you let enter in your family as cultural input. This is the seventh. And then the eighth principle is to discover and help the child discover his reason to be, or his ikigai, or his sole purpose. It's all the same. It's to help the child realize, I am here for that. This is my life. This is what motivate me, animate me, attract me, let me feel I am alive. This is very important, this principle of the reason to be. And the last one, the ninth principle I define for the natural education is to see life as a school, the school of life. We are constantly learning through our life so that we don't need to go to school. As for our soul, life is a school.